Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Becky, Asset Finance Partner of Norton Rose Fulbright, Hong Kong. This session's topic is International Finance and China Connection. Joining me today, we have 5 panelists, and let me introduce them quickly to you. On my left, we have Serena, Transport Capital, Stephanie, Standard Chartered Bank, Phoebe from Purus, Ivan, ICBC FL Financial Leasing, Jerry, Crédit Agricole. So when I am researching into this topic, I actually come across a piece of news about Seaspan signing first ever renminbi-denominated shipbuilding contract. And when I talked to the delegates this morning at the conference, I was actually told that Costco has also signed a renminbi-denominated shipbuilding contract shortly after Seaspan did. So it seems that, or in the very likely event that this becomes a trend, my first question to the panelists here is whether international banks and leasing companies are prepared to support ship owners using renminbi loan or ship financing. So it happens that we have someone who has first-hand information on the Seaspan transaction. So my first question would be to Ivan, ICBC Financial Leasing.
Thanks, Becky. Actually, the RMB internationalization is a popular topic nowadays, so I'm glad to say we are honored to be a part of this deal. Actually, we provided the lease financing for these new building orders to Seaspan. And actually, the repayment of this deal is also denominated in RMB, and it's a type of deal includes the RMB new building contract, the RMB charter contract, and RMB lease financing. But it is not a unique structure at all, because we know the Eastern Pacific shipping has been also reported to have the deal with RMB settlement. I believe these two deals are the landmark for the shipping industry because it leads a suggestion that the RMB is going to be the international currency, and there is a room for more international ship owners to consider to use the RMB-based contract to develop their business. And from my perspective, I think actually there is no new story or is any ambition for the RMB to grow as an international currency because I think it is the simply reflection of the diversification and the mutual investment strategies created by international ship owners because it has become increasingly important for them to minimize their currency risk and interest cost. So, however, I agree with the owners. This is only feasible if they have already secured the certain RMB intra-FUCOM. So that would be wiser for them to manage their repayment for the charter hire and as well as the loan repayment. And at the macro level, we know the more and more Chinese business occupied an increasingly important position in the global supply chain, like our shipbuilding industry. And that highlights the importance of business and brings a lot of trade partners to create the solid foundation to accelerate the RMB internationalization. At the same time, we can understand from the China's concurrent goals of promoting the healthy recovery of the capital market. It both requires the improving the economic fundamentals and maintaining the interest rate at the low enough level. So combine these factors, I believe we will see more and more deals dominated in RMB in the near future. Thank you.
Stephanie, what's your view on this?
Well, I think absolutely, we're very much ready to sort of facilitate renminbi internationalization. It's actually one of the key strategic drivers for Standard Chartered Bank. But I think, as Ivan mentioned, it's not just about lending. That's also about the various parts of facilitating the internationalization itself, including such as a payment settlement, right? I think that's where Standard Chartered, we are one of the first foreign banks on CIPS, the cross-border interbank system. And so we have a fantastic role to play in terms of payments and settlements. We are also a top CNH primary liquidity provider. So both of this played well into our strengths, and also because of our extensive network, we were awarded the best RMB bank in 16 markets by the Asset AAA Awards this year. I'm optimistic from what I hear from Ivan. I mean, in the past, I haven't been able to participate as much as my other colleagues because shipping ultimately is a US dollar denominated industry. So I'm quite excited to hear more. Ultimately, banks are led by the customers. So if there is a need, we will be there.
Jerry, how about you?
Yeah, before I answer this question, whether the renminbi-dominated shipbuilding contract will be a trend, or if the renminbi financing will be a trend, I think we can referencing the yen-dominated shipbuilding contract and also the yen financing not so long ago, maybe 10 years ago or anyway. So I think what we need to look into this is back in say 10 years ago, the Japanese yak, they are very keen to have a yen-dominated shipbuilding contract, and because of this shipbuilding contract, then the ship owner will ask for yen's financing. Back at the time when the yen financing is concluded, of course the yen interest rate is low, and it make all sense, to go for yen and so on. But let's not forget when we committed into a ship finance loan financing loan facility is a very long-term issue. It could be take 10 years for shipping loans. So the thing is, we need to consider also the ethics risk for this one. I heard that Ivan have said for the renminbi one, the shipbuilding prices in renminbi, and also the income is also in renminbi, which is good. You can match it. You can naturally hedge the renminbi ethics risk. But let's not forget, not just the income, but also the OPEX, the LTV. And there is also many they say insurance premium and so on. So in shipping, we have already faced so many risks, and I'll put it in this way: why we bother to face an additional risk unless we have a very good rationale, or maybe if the contract price in RMB is really low, then we have this benefit, but we need to justify it. So don't get me wrong. I am supportive for renminbi to go internationalization, but for shipping, which is for many years is USD dominated business. So I would say we need to have very good rationale to justify whether or not to enter into a renminbi dominated shipbuilding contract, and also the renminbi ship financing.
Thank you. I think just to conclude a bit, to support renminbi internationalization, I think we need to have a good infrastructure from both financing, operational, and potentially like a commodity perspective to make sure that it all goes like smoothly, like as if we're doing US dollars deal. And I think this kind of cooperation basically would require the whole community or the entire shipping community to work together and to see if this can be further developed. Yeah. Having said so, Serena, I know Transport Capital basically have arranged different variety of transactions inside, outside of China, like throughout the years. So from your past experience, what is the main consideration and favorites due characteristics that your clients are looking at when they're doing financing?
Thank you, Becky. Good afternoon, everyone. I think let me introduce a little bit about Transport Capital. Transport Capital is a Singapore-based investment management and corporate finance company which focus on the transportation. And our services include both of the real asset management and investment management. During the very early years, we have helped the financial institutions to maintain their distressed assets, and over the past 3 years, we have also concluded some successful investment for our rich cash clients. And also in the corporate finance sector, we help our client to raise different kinds of capitals from equity to junior mezzanine and senior loan through many financing structures. And also we have a dedicated team to do the not only ship, vessels and aviation asset brokerage. So I think in terms of the financing structure, we have done several of them, including bank financing, because we are the exclusive lending agent of German-based Dept Bank in Asia and also Greece market. Bank financing and Chinese leasing, JOCO, or some financing, or French tax lease, and some financing from alternative lenders. As we all know, and we have seen many of ship owners, especially the bigger ones, they have generated a very, very significant return and excess liquidity over the past 4 years. And this combined with the high interest rate had led them to make very significant prepayments over the recent years. So I think if you ask me, I think especially some of the ship owners have learned a lesson from the tough period. So they don't want to pursue very high leverage. This will cause a competition from banks and Chinese lessors. So I think for this group of clients, the first priority is pricing. And, but on the other side, I think also because they don't need high leverage, so they are reluctant to provide corporate guarantee. And this structure is well accepted by some European shipping banks. And now it is also accepted by more Chinese lessors. But on the other side, some other, such as project sponsors, they would like to get high leverage to create an attractive ROE. But this kind of deals should be based on a very long-term charter to secure the cash flow. And I think aside from LTV and pricing, usually the longer repayment profile is popular because it can be served by a lower break-even. That is important for all the ship owners. But unfortunately, under the ESG targets, most of the banks would shorten the repayment profile for the conventional fueled ships. But it's the same situation in Chinese leasing market. There would be some age limitations also. And I think apart from that, last but not least, I think our client will also pay attention to the financial covenants, minimum cash requirement, and restrictions of the cash distribution or dividend distributions. And also, I think some of of course, the flexibility of prepayment in terms of the cost or whether they have the option. And last point is that some of our clients would like to have a European lessor to let them enjoy the German tonnage tax, but only limited Chinese lessors are capable to do that. So that is our recent experience.
Thanks, Serena. I think that's very comprehensive. It seems that like there are two categories, like project financing and asset financing, and they're going two different ways in terms of leverage, in terms of pricing. But I think the common message here is that ESG remains quite an important issue in all types of transactions. And speaking of ESG, so since we have Purus here, we'd like to know how ESG and decarbonization would impact on shipping, which is very capital intensive.
Okay, maybe for ESG to start, I would say it's a growing importance factor to take into account. However, it's not the only factors that we are looking at. As a ship owner, especially, financial viability is still very much the key focus that we are looking at. That being said, with more focus in decarbonization and ESG, actually drive up the price on the vessels, especially when we see more and more parties trying to retrofit their existing vessels or even to place a new order to match with the latest technologies in order to comply with the so-called IMO requirement. But we still think that industry will need a clearer directions or a strategy to begin with to see where the development should go. As you have correctly pointed it out, the capex for ship building, especially, is a long-term commitment to a company. But we have yet to see a very clear directions on how the fuel and technologies infrastructure is going to be for maybe the next 24 months or even 5 years. I don't know. That one is like a black box right now. But with Purus here, we are trying to capture and provide expertise that we have based on the experience that we have to our counterparties to learn through the progress and also to help them with the decarbonization effort. Yeah.
So here's my favorite question to the ship owners. A lot of owners are cash rich, interest rate is high. Do you still have any funding need?
We appreciate that those larger ship owners are loaded with cash, readily to be deployed for our unique projects out there. But I still think funding is relevant. Just back to the fundamental questions on the costing. So cost of equity can always be perceived as a higher cost as compared to the cost of debt. So with that, we still think that it is to maintain a healthy leverage will still help the company to optimize the cost. So say for Purus, despite that we are maintaining a healthy new build order book, we still think that financing is important to us, not just mainly due to the costing, but also the kind of long-term banking relationship or the funding relationship that we are trying to make, which is why I think the topic on the renminbi funding is something new to us and is interesting market to explore as well.
Thank you, Phoebe. Apparently decarbonization, ESG, all these topics are very relevant now. And maybe this is a question for the leasing companies and maybe also for Serena and for the banks. How would that impact your appetite in financing and your strategies? Stephanie first, maybe?
Oh, wow. It's decarbonization is such a broad topic. I mean, the gentleman speaker before, he says the key word is now sustainability. It's got such a broad impact. It's like swinging a pineapple in the dark, right? You don't know what it will hit, frankly speaking, or what the impact would be. But I think in short, from Standard Chartered's perspective, it has not affected our appetite negatively. But in saying that, it does measure quite importantly in our risk assessments. We started monitoring climate risk impact in 2002, and I've seen the policies gone from 2 pages to 20 pages. The procedures that we have to go through is immense. Now, every single new deal, we actually look at the climate risk impact on the client as well as an asset. Now, what does it mean for the client itself? We look at the transition plan. We ask the questions, do you have a transition plan? Do you have interim targets to meet 2030, 2050 goals? We look at the asset, we look at the CII. If it's a D or an E, we do ask questions, right? It's not a simple pass-through anymore. We look at age, the fuel type, the ESTs involved. So I think it's not, for Standard Chartered, it hasn't affected in our appetite in the sense that we stop financing certain type of assets like tankers. But certainly as time passes by, because of our risk assessments, some transactions will actually say a pass on.
So it looks like you need a climate lawyer soon, right?
I think that's
to produce like 22 pages of report. We love
absolutely.
that, I'm sure. Jerry, how about you? Do you need one?
Probably one day. But yeah, thanks, Becky, for your question, and give me an opportunity to respond. One of the lively discussion earlier this morning, I think it's from a ship owner's aspect, stating that the banks is only looking for profit and not supportive to the green financing. So my response is that yes, we're not charity. We need to look into the profit. Yes, the banks need the profitability. I need the salary as well. So, but no, we are very supportive to the green financing. In fact, Crédit Agricole is the founding signatory of Poseidon Principles and also a member of Net Zero Banking Alliance. So basically, we don't have option to ignore the green financing or any sustainability financing and so on. So, I jokingly, I would say the ESG or the decarbonization nowadays is the new KYC. Before you look into the project parameters, before you look into the pricing, we need to have a very good understanding on the asset we are going to finance, and also the policy of the company, whether they will have a comprehensive decarbonization strategy and so on. So I think the bank is really supportive on this. And just for information, if the asset we are financing is classified as a green asset, then our bank has also offered some discount in pricing for this financing. So in short, we are very supportive to this green financing and ESG things. But back to the question whether it will affect the financing behavior of the banks, I think we can put it in two ways, two aspects. In the long term, of course, we're looking for the green asset. We're looking for the alternative fuels, and which we need to achieve the 2050 target. That's I think this target is very clear, and we are all parties, not just banks. And I know the ship owners and also other stakeholders are pushing for this. But for the short term, I think this is something that at least we need to we will be more concerned on this because despite the 2050 targets, we still have some intermediate target in 2030. Yes, what kind of behaviors will be affected? Like I think Serena has just said, we will shorten the loan tenure. That's obvious. Maybe from now on, we just consider 5-year loan, so that in 2029 the loan will be repaid, and we don't need to care about the 2030 target for this particular project. But I mean, we still have the 2030 intermediate target. So I mean we of course we also have the CII and things go on. So that's something that we are doing, and we will keep doing, so that we make sure that we meet the intermediate target as well as the 2050, the ultimate target. But here I would also want to say one thing. We are the bankers. We are not the ship owners. We are not the technical guys. And I'm sure the ship owners that know much better than us as bankers. So how we can retrofit the vessels, how we can achieve the decarbonization target. I think the ship owners can also give us some feedback on this. I mean, I know that there is many ways, like simply from enhancing the efficiency of the engine, the propeller, and also like the installation of the wind-assisted propulsion system, and even retrofitting the bow of the vessels. This all kind of thing can be, can help on the decarbonization and the ESG. And I think I know for most of the time the ship owners will blame, okay, the bank is just putting the threshold, putting some new rules, No, I would say we want to do it together, and of course, since we're not very very technical guy, we need maybe for most of the time we need your guidance on how we should present ourselves to be seen as where how to deal with this decarbonization issue and the ESG issue. So I think the message here is that we need to work together, and I know that right now we have two approach: the top-down approach, the 2050 target, and also the 1.5 degree initiative. Yes, this is something that ideally we can do. This is ideally we can do. So this is the top-down target, from IMO, from the UN, and so on. But in the short term, I believe we can also do the bottom-up approach, meaning that how you can increase the efficiency of the vessels, and how the short term you think you target the 2030 target. So I believe we need to work together instead of the ship owners complaining, the bankers, and the bankers complaining we do not have capacity to lend to the ship owners.
Ivan, how about the leasing company? What's the approach to this issue?
Yeah, thanks, Becky. And actually, there are many professional views published by ship owners and bankers. So I just want to introduce my personal opinions on the leasing side. I think there will be two main factors will be affected by the decarbonization. And the first one is the update of the regulations and the policies. Actually, the environmental policies have a more strict influence on the ship owners or shipping companies. But different to bankers, we are the registered owners of the vessel. So the modification of the regulations may increase our potential cost, especially in TC transactions, like EU ETS. So for myself, I just kept eyes on the update or the modification on the regulations caused by the decarbonization. And the second one is the green finance. Definitely the emphasis of the environmental and sustainable development is increasing during the world. So like bankers introduced, to support the green finance is a key development strategy for global financial institutions. Definitely we are always willing to support the green and low carbon transformation from our financial strengths. And in 2020, we won the Brimani Green Lease Award. And I think that is an affirmation of our work on the green finance. At the same time, the owners or the ship owners also can reduce their interest cost via the environmental friendly vessels to achieve the win-win situation. So under this case, we also would like to explore more cooperation opportunities with international ship owners to explore more the green finance via the leasing structure. Yeah, thank you.
Serena, what about a quick question, a quick answer from you?
How quick it is? I think, first of all, I think decarbonization is a positive factor in terms of supply-demand balance in the whole industry, and it's also beneficial for all the shipyards. But we need to think about decarbonization is really costly, both through the very high new building cost, retrofitting cost, and EU ETS, few EU regulations, such kind of things. And on the other hand, so I think the need of funding will be increased in this regard. But on the other hand, banks may have a higher capital requirement may face to a higher capital requirement due to Basel IV. So that would be open up a market for alternative funding sources. So I think it's a good, maybe a good thing for our Chinese leasing friends. Because, okay, from the ship owner side, I think some of them may have less access to their traditional financiers if they cannot meet some targets during certain period. But I would say there is always some alternative funding resources in the market. And I read an interesting article from Clarkson's. It's that across the world, 111,000 tonnages are accounted for by 29,000 ship owners. So you can tell shipping is a quite fragmented market, but the new building orders is very concentrated. Only less than 1,500 ship owners have new building orders now. And only 400 ship owners have been responsible for the alternative capacity, the investment of the alternative fuel capability. So given the large number of older and less high-spec tonnages on the water, I think all the financial institutions, we need to take a more pragmatic approach to keep financing, to keep supporting this industry.
Thank you, Serena. I think our panelists have offered a very comprehensive view on this topic, and yeah, thank you, everybody.